everybody. Welcome to our afternoon Facebook Live with the Illinois Environmental Council. I'm Jen Walling, the Executive Director of IEC.
Hi, I'm Colleen Smith. I'm the Legislative Director.
And we wanted to do a Facebook Live today to give you a little bit of information about what happened over the veto session. So just wanted to tell you a little bit about what a veto session is. The state legislature is usually in January through May, and then they're supposed to, they can come back usually October, November, December, to deal with issues the governor may have vetoed. There were not that many issues that were vetoed by this governor this year, so this has been the second week of veto session. Actually, right now where we're doing this, they're not even done yet. But they did a week, the last week in October, and then the last 3 days here in November, and then they're done for the year, and unless there's some sort of emergency, they won't come back. They did pass a number of brand new bills because they had the time to do that, but that was veto session. We just want to give you a little bit of update about all of the things that happened this week. So we had a pretty busy first week of veto session. What'd you do that week, Colleen?
Well, I hope some of you guys were there with us, but on Tuesday, October 30th, we had 500 people come down to Springfield and join us for our veto session lobby day on Clean Energy Jobs Act. It was, once again, so awesome to see that many environmental supporters from all parts of the state. We had people at nearly every Senate district.
I think it's 57 of 59 Senate districts.
Wow.
So that was really, really impressive.
And just to see that many people who even came down in May for a successful lobby day then, be so committed to the Clean Energy Jobs Act that they came down again. So it was great to be in the Capitol seeing all those folks, and we had a lot of good one-on-one meetings with all those legislators, showing again the power of the grassroots community that's really been driving the Clean Energy Jobs Act all along and continues to do so. We're at a moment now when we're got a lot of good momentum, still a lot of reason to pass the Clean Energy Jobs Act, and excited to carry that into the new year.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of Lobby Day?
Oh my gosh. I really thought the rally was really nice this year.
Yeah.
We've never done one in the rotunda before. We usually have done it outside, and it just was a lot of energy. People were just so excited. There were a lot of great chants from some organizers. The youth were amazing. It was put together, emceed by Naomi Davis from Blacks and Green. Just a lot of it. Plus, it actually was a lot easier to hold in the rotunda than outside. It was easier to get people all in one space.
Yeah.
And as the group organizing the event, we loved that. But just every bus was full, and that was really exciting. So thanks to everybody that came out for it. What was your favorite part?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing that many youth. I walked around a couple different groups, and I had some students that were from Whitney Young and other high schools in Chicago, and just the passion that they have and continue to be the leaders of this movement right now. They did a demonstration after the rally, delivering a bunch of youth letters to the governor. So just that was really exciting to see.
Yeah.
We're getting old,
Yeah. And so, other exciting news, I mean, we had done a veto session lobby day because we thought at one point we could hear the Clean Energy Jobs Act or an energy bill during veto session. But I think, to be honest, everybody has read, I think, about the issues that are going on with the utilities, with ComEd and Exelon, and FBI investigations that are wide-ranging in Springfield. And I think there's a wide desire to do energy issues from a framework that is really about climate change and about jobs and equity. And we're really excited about that, but it didn't get heard during veto session, which was disappointing, but I think we were able to bring the message of urgency to the Capitol. And just last week, the governor announced in a statement, or he was asked a question at an event, and he said that he sees the Clean Energy Bill, the Clean Energy Jobs Act, being taken up next spring, just discussions starting as early as January, I don't know what any of that'll look like, but it's just really exciting to have a little more information about it. But I think I'm really excited to maybe have that framework. Whenever we passed an energy bill in the past, it's really involved a lot of corporate moneyed utilities, because those are the folks with the power in Springfield. So if we could pass a bill that really focused around climate, jobs, and equity, I would be so excited. So really exciting stuff. And while that was disappointing to not have during veto session, I'm really looking forward to the spring. And as soon as we get the session calendar, we'll have the date for next year's veto session, or next year's lobby day, March or April. We'll give you the date to save.
Already there.
But other exciting stuff happened this week too.
Yeah, it does just feel like every year, or whenever energy's taken up, people are sometimes saying, why don't we have enough votes? And we've been growing the environmental power in Springfield. And that, I'm not the most patient person, that takes a long time, but we're at this place where it really does feel like we have all of these legislators that are committed to acting on climate, and for jobs and equity, and that's what's driving, and all of your voices are the ones making the difference.
So many great new lawmakers.
Yeah, and at the City of Chicago, we actually passed a resolution that supports the Clean Energy Jobs Act and calls on Governor Pritzker and the General Assembly to pass that bill as soon as possible. So the Committee on Environmental Protection passed that the other month, and then just Wednesday it was approved by the full council. Mayor Lightfoot has showed that she supports the pillars of the Clean Energy Jobs Act and is dedicated, obviously, Chicago to a 100% clean energy future, and having the city support CEJA is a really big step for our movement forward.
And then other legislation that was taken up during the last 2 weeks of veto session that had to do with the environment that we spent a lot of time on was legislation having to do with ethylene oxide. Ethylene oxide is a top-tier carcinogen, and it was reclassified by the IEPA as a carcinogen, more lethal to humans than previously thought in 2016. In 2018, a map came out that showed that Willowbrook was a hotspot for this particular carcinogen, and there was a hotspot of cancer in the area. Now, Sterigenics has closed down, really in thanks to the people in the community that just wouldn't stop fighting, wouldn't let up, held their elected officials accountable. But what was missing from that map that was published in 2018 was more information about the Medline facility that's near Waukegan. Now, that information was available and transmitted to ASDR that put together that study, but it wasn't included in it, and it would have shown a hotspot in Waukegan as well. And we've also learned since about the top emitters of ethylene oxide in the state, and there are places that are emitting nearly 1,000 pounds in several different areas of the state. So we worked with activists from Lake County and the Northwestern Law Clinic. They had put together a piece of legislation. There was legislation that passed in the spring, but it wasn't stringent enough to get rid of the ethylene oxide in Lake County and other areas where it's a problem. And so the first week of veto session, we passed House Bill 3888 in the House, and it just got 60 votes, the minimum amount of votes that were needed to pass it. But there were some agreements to amend it. When it passed, it would have been just really the strongest piece of legislation in the country, which we already are leading the country on this issue. But it would have basically banned ethylene oxide emissions in areas where there are densely populated. So most of Lake County, which would be Medline and Vantage, and there are a few other facilities in the state. Unfortunately, this week it went over to the state Senate, and Representative Rita Mayfield was the House co-sponsor. She had a lot of help from the Lake County delegation, Representative Sam Yingling, Representative Joyce Mason, Representative Dave Diddick. Am I missing anybody? Representative Mary Edley Allen, just really strong supporters of making a difference on the issue. It went over to the Senate, and it was with Senator John Curran and Senator Melinda Bush. And it went to the Senate Executive Committee yesterday and had a very long hearing on it, where IEC testified as well as some local people. Unfortunately, it failed in the executive committee with only 7 votes, but there was a really strong message from the members of the executive committee that if the industry doesn't come to the table, they're going to move something that they don't like. And I think that was really positive for the future. And I know the activists that are really concerned about this in Lake County and DuPage County they're just not going to stop. And so I hope lawmakers are aware of that and that this is coming back in the spring. But I think all of this that was done really puts us in a good position to work on this again later and bring everybody together. Just a lot of people really concerned about this in Lake County. So it was a little disappointing, but definitely something that we'll continue to work on. Was a big deal. So not a whole ton on the environment that happened during veto session, but we did get a lot of work done in talking to lawmakers. And here at IEC, we're already preparing for 2020. I mean, we start preparing in June for 2020 to get our legislation together. And we wanted to give a few teasers for what we think will happen. We don't know the session schedule yet. We might know it as soon as like today. I'm planning my whole life around it, right? And so, some teasers. What do you think is going to be a big deal in 2020, Colleen?
Yeah, IEC works on so many different environmental issues. We bring together our members to talk through this planning of like what is coming up and what are their priorities, and that's really how we formulate our agenda. So obviously the Clean Energy Jobs Act, we know that is going to be the biggest thing we work on in the spring, and we have so many dedicated grassroots advocates and lawmakers, and now, as Jen said, the support of the governor to passing clean energy legislation. So that's really exciting. Beyond that, I know that we're still committed to our lead in drinking water bill, a measure we've worked on with Senator Staines and Representative Lamont Robinson for 2 years now, following some other legislation IEC led that required lead testing in schools and daycare centers. And this would really be the replacement of all lead service lines in the state and how we plan for that. And that's super important because we have 1/8 of all lead service lines in the country here in Illinois, which is just absurd.
Yeah.
And the more we put off trying to figure out how we're going to deal with this issue, which we know we have to address, the more expensive and more difficult it becomes, and the more the very real public health impacts are. So that bill is House Bill 3035, and we'll be working on that a lot next year. And then obviously there's been a lot of issue and attention around plastics lately. The more we learn about them, every day there's just plastic all around you and it's hard to escape, and we just have this proliferation that we need to try and cut back. IEC's worked on a plastic bag fee for many years, and introduced one last session that would be statewide. And I think we're thinking through several measures of kind of a proactive plastics agenda of how do we make it easier for consumers to be informed and to make choices that don't revolve around plastic. How do we promote better recycling in our state? Actually, there was just a report that came out today about that from one of our members at PERG. So I think you're going to see a lot of attention on plastics. And then, we always are working on our local food movement, and we're really excited that Representative Sonia Harper, who's from the Urban Ag community in Inglewood, is going to be chairing the House Agriculture Committee, which is huge. This has always been, someone who is not always favorable to, the environmental community.
It's also the first Black woman to ever
Yeah.
chair the House Ag Committee. And so it's really exciting. And
When was the last woman?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Either way.
It's been a while. And because she was the director of Grow Greener Englewood before she came in. She knows all about these issues, and she's really excited about it. We're really pumped to work with her.
Yeah, so I think we're going to find ourselves a bold, sustainable, local food agenda to work on with her. So a lot ahead in 2020. That was just a couple bills, and I think we're probably going to introduce
A lot.
a
Not
lot.
as many as last year, but 'cause it's an election year next year, so there might be fewer session days, but we got to keep going. We have just probably one of the best environments in Springfield to get this legislation done that we've ever had. and we can't waste the opportunity. So we're definitely grateful to all of our supporters that have done action alerts, come to our lobby day, done district office visits, built relationships with their lawmakers. In 2020, we're definitely going to be providing resources like our Civics for Environmentalists talk, maybe even an extra advocacy talk, just to prepare people for this role. I mean, we really want to open up the doors of Springfield to environmentalists, to our member affiliates. It's really important to us. So that's a little bit of what we will be going on in 2020, but definitely feel free to email us with any questions. We have a few things coming up at the end of the year to close out the year, help us prepare. So one of them is our Young Professionals Board, which is just amazing. Colleen and I both were on the Young Professionals Board before we worked at IEC, and like great crop of new people on that YP board. They have their signature holiday event December 3rd at Revolution Brewing. You can buy tickets on our website, Facebook, etc. It's a really inexpensive event.
My favorite event.
Like beer and raffle prizes and super fun. The other thing that we have even that week is on December 6th, we have our annual meeting if you're a member, but we also have a holiday party in conjunction with Sierra Club that night. Send us an email about it for more information. And then, we really do have to prepare for next year in terms of fundraising, making sure we have all the staff capacity we need, making sure that we are ready to go. And is that this is the best opportunity we've ever had to get this work done. And I think, if you look at our legislative agenda, we crushed it this year, so we have to crush it next year. So Giving Tuesday is coming up, and it's on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So Tuesday, December 2nd, or Tuesday, December 3rd, Tuesday, December 3rd. But
you want to give on both
the 2nd,
days, yeah.
You can give any day. You can start giving now and pretend like it's Giving Tuesday. But the website is ilenviro.org/givingtuesday to start. You're going to see a bunch of emails from us about it, but just donate, and then you'll get it off your to-do list. And so also, donate on behalf of somebody. It's a great gift for folks for the holidays. But we really appreciate any support that you can give. We got a lot of work to do, and we definitely couldn't do it without our supporters. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks, Colleen, for sitting down with us. And we'll be back to give you updates later. So thank you.